Good morning. It's time for Two Guys on Sports. I'm Larry Hazer.
I'm Dick Olson. Good morning, Larry.
Good morning, Dick. Two Guys on Sports brought to us each week by All Motor Performance, Opelt Avenue, Neillsville, Braun Concrete and Excavating, Chili Implement, and Jeff Holthouse, State Farm Agent Coverage you can trust. And it's a busy spring sports season.
Yeah.
I know we were waiting for it to get going, and now it's going.
Yeah, it's going big time in all directions.
Yeah. We'll start with high school baseball. We were over in Loyal on Tuesday night for Neillsville, Granton, and Loyal, and I tell you, Loyal, they take advantage of opportunities.
Yeah, they're a veteran ball club. They know how to. They're patient hitters. They're good they don't make mistakes in the field. They don't make mistakes on the base paths. You can tell they're a solid pitching team. I don't know. They're maybe not the best hitting team around, but
yeah,
they are patient and. Quite honestly, Neillsville did quite well, but shot themselves in the foot in a couple innings. One inning, it was errors and a couple hit batters, and then another inning, I believe it was 6 walks. And, But a good ball club takes advantage of that. And like I said, they got pretty solid-looking pitching staff with, we'll see either Tolfar or Lemovic today. But, Pekoshik, other than one rough inning, he looks solid. Kautzer looks like he's not bad coming out, too. So Hunter Walter did some pitching. So they're pretty deep pitching-wise, too. So.
And they'll have to be because they've
absolutely
got quite a schedule coming up.
Yeah,
here.
Man, and they're dipping into they're not sitting away from anybody. They're going Pacelli and then Fall Creek, Osseo. Later on, they've got Marathon and Pittsville on their schedule.
And they still got Columbus Catholic
twice
for a couple of games yet, too.
So they're not shying away from anybody, which is the kind of the Dean Bogdanovich way too. He's always been that way. He's not been afraid to play anybody. So
well, you're not going to get any better unless you play the big.
Absolutely,
see where you measure up.
Absolutely.
And speaking of, just go into the rankings here quick. Speaking of Pittsville, they're ranked 2 in the state, Division 4. Loyal's ranked 3rd. Columbus Catholic 4th.
Yep.
So
and then Athens isn't the one I have as Athens at 10th.
Okay.
Also, and Columbus, Pittsville, Athens, they're all going to be in the same regional there, sectional, regional, sectional. So, along with Edgar, too. Edgar's record isn't that good, but they play in a very tough D3 conference also. So
yeah, speaking of the teams they play, one of them is Stratford, who's ranked 2 in Division 3, and they just took care of Marathon.
5-0. Yeah. I'll tell you what, that is you talk about a solid pitching staff. They are very sound pitching and also very senior oriented. Very patient at the plate, solid in the field. They are going to both those teams. I think Marathon will make some noise in D3 also, Larry.
Okay. Well, we saw Stratford last week, and they are a complete team.
Yeah, and Marathon is pretty decent too, but they are not quite Stratford.
No. Stratford's got kind of like Loyal. They're deep in pitching.
Yeah, they go about 4 deep. And, solid up the middle. These teams are all solid. They got a good keystone combo up the middle, the pitching, the catching, the center fielder. So that's
and a lot of these teams. We saw it with Loyal the other night. Numerous guys can play different positions.
Absolutely, yeah. Tolfar just kind of worked his way around the infield that night,
that helps.
Yeah, absolutely, versatility. And Lemovic, I'm sure can too, and I'm Kautzer, I'm guessing too, and Stiglitz plays the outfield, but he can play. He's a man of plenty positions also.
So Loyal looking for some good things. They've got Columbus Catholic on their schedule, and Columbus Catholic and them are tied for first.
That is going to be a battle between those two teams. Columbus is a very good ball club. We've seen them early, but they're playing well. They're the one team who has given Stratford a battle this year. Mm-hmm. They lost 3-2 to Stratford. They are a very good ball club, and they too are deep in pitching. So.
Yeah, and then when you play these back-to-back conference games on Tuesday, Thursday, it's a chess match.
And there's no secrets.
Right?
Absolutely no secrets.
No. No, it's all out there. It's all out there for you. Kind of a surprise, I guess. One of the scores I saw from the other night, Assumption beat Auburndale, 13-6.
Yeah, Auburndale. They're 1-2, 4-3 overall, and Assumption, that was their first win in the conference. Yeah. So, though they are 6-3 overall, I don't know what I didn't look at their schedule, but that first win in the conference. So, who knows? And in the Western Clover Belt, Elk Mound got a win, Cadott got a win, and Fall Creek got a win, and they're still all tied. Cadott, very surprising.
Yeah.
We played up there last year, and nice facility and stuff, but I didn't think their team was that great. But looks like they've got it going this year.
Looks like another year under the belt.
Absolutely. Big game today. Again, Regis at Cadott, Fall Creek at McDonald, and today too. So
all right, and we got Loyal and Neilsville Granton again today at Henry Luke's baseball field, 5 o'clock.
Yeah, Owen Withy will be over at Columbus, and Spencer is going to Gilman today. So
all right, so a lot of baseball action coming up again today. Girls softball, Loyal Greenwood downing Neilsville Granton in a battle of teams that were 3-1.
Yeah, Neilsville coming off that big win against Columbus kind of had things out in front of them because they've got a couple of games with Gilman left, but let one slip away the other night. So
yeah, so Loyal Greenwood now takes over second, and Gilman still unbeaten.
4-0, and those two teams meet in. I'm guessing they're playing in Greenwood today.
Okay. Yeah, they didn't play in Loyal. Yeah. I guess that game with Neilsville Granton was supposed to be in Loyal, but the outfield was too wet.
Yeah, that is kind of a mushy old field out there. I know from experience. So, but I said Sheer Park in Greenwood doesn't handle water all that great either.
No, apparently a little better, I guess.
Yes, absolutely. So
a couple of no-hitters pitched in softball on Tuesday night.
Yeah, the Columbus girls had a combined no-hitter, and then I believe who was the other one?
Morgan Griesbach from Auburndale.
Auburndale, so
got a no-hitter against Assumption.
Yeah.
All right, so girls softball, Columbus Catholic and Gilman and Loyal Greenwood look like they're the teams.
Yeah, I think they all got games against each other yet. So
in the Eastern Florida Belt.
Gilman is still kind of an unknown there on top.
Yeah. They've in years past they've always been fairly decent.
Solid. Always been solid in girls.
They got good coaching.
Yeah, all girls sports they've been very solid.
Yeah.
Boys they've struggled. Other than football, they've struggled, but the girls have been very strong up there. So.
And how about the Neilsville golf team the other night over in Meadowview Golf Course?
You don't see that very often, do you?
I think one of the times I saw that was I think it was
Bloomer. What did Bloomer do it? Yeah, Bloomer did it. I believe at a regional or something. Yeah. But they beat Loyal by 23 strokes. But Colton Hanish was first with a 43. Braden Mortensen and Cody Hart tied for second with 44s, and then Brady Berg and Landon Rakestraw tied for third with 45s. The next, Jack Wendler from Owen Withy was with a 46 was the highest individual that wasn't from Neilsville.
Yeah, so they took all 5 of the top spots.
Yeah, so
that's like the Beatles back in the days.
Yeah, so. These teams are in Neilsville today, Larry. The Eastern Florida Belt teams, but then tomorrow they're stepping it up tomorrow.
Okay,
they are going up to Bloomer. And that is like a 23-team invitational tournament. You got Altoona, Bloomer, Cadott, Chetek, Weyerhaeuser, Colby, Colfax, Columbus, Cumberland, Elk Mound, Ellsworth, Fall Creek, Ladysmith, Loyal, McDonald, Osceola, Osseo, Owen Withy, Prescott, St. Croix Central, Somerville, Spring Valley, Stanley Boyd, and Thorpe. So they are going to be stepping up a little bit in competition.
Yeah. We'll see what you're made of.
Yes, absolutely. So
I think this might be the first time they've been out of the conference as far as matches.
Yeah, because this will be their second. Today will be their second event at Neilsville. Yep. They've had 2 at Meadowview and 1 up at Medford, and they had not played any other place.
Okay, all right. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But
tomorrow for the Neilsville boys golf team. But so far they're doing pretty well.
Absolutely.
As we talked about it on the way up to Loyal the other night. They used to do it kind of crossing over the east and the west, but now strictly east.
Strictly east and west. I don't know what that is, but because you like to throw different courses in there. Right. Another thing I'm surprised at, they haven't had something, and of course, but we came up with the conclusion they haven't golfed in Marshfield because of the weather, because both those courses are very low and very waterish.
Yeah, it takes a long time to dry up.
And they may not be ready to be played on yet. So,
all right. So there you go. Yeah. Track and field, the Wood County track meet. The other day, Marshfield did pretty well.
Yeah,
they had a lot of first place finishers.
That's an interesting bunch of you got the 2 Rapid schools, Pittsville, Auburndale, and the 2 Marshfield schools lining up, and
all out of Wood County.
All out of Wood County. So, but Jackson Anderson from Marshfield winning the 100 and 200 in the boys. Trevor Throwbridge from Auburndale winning the 110 and 300 hurdles, and then Logan Nagel from Auburndale winning the shot and the discus. On the girls' side, Bella Thomas from Assumption.
She
won the 100, the 200, the 400. It's a 1-2.
Yeah.
Boy, that's just an automatic 30 points right there. So
you're right. Yeah.
But Marshfield Senior High dominated the relays over there. They won the 800, the 400, the 800, and the 3200. So
Gracie Hazenharl of Auburndale took the pole vault. And Abigail Schmidt of Auburndale tied Olivia Summers of Marshfield in the high jump. Okay. And that kind of brings us to our guest today, so to speak, as Mike Warren did an interview with Auburndale head track and field coach John Karl, and we were kind of talking before we went on that John was a longtime wrestling coach.
Yeah, John. John in John's history, John goes back. He graduated from Auburndale High School and then came back as a teacher. He's a history teacher at Auburndale at the high school, I believe, and then always coached wrestling. And I think he's been part of the football program at times, and who knows? And now for the last, I believe, 8 years, I think he's been part of the track. But I think he had to be self-taught how to coach track. So.
Yeah, I think he kind of mentions that a little bit during the interview with Mike. But it's kind of a portion of the interview, and he starts off by Mike asking him how he gets the different kids to fit the different events.
How do you go about getting kids in certain events? Is it a coaching thing, or is it sort of let's meet in the middle and tell me what you're interested in? We as coaches see your strengths, your weaknesses, and is it kind of a team effort?
I would say it's a team effort. I would say it's that halfway in between. In the beginning of the season, we have like sign-ups. All right, tell us what you would like to do, right? But if you're running a 15-second 100-meter dash, you're probably not just a sprinter in general, right? Or we're going to, and again, for us to say compete against the top teams in our conference, that's probably not realistic right now with the amount of kids we have. But we do want to try to be as successful as possible, score as many team points as possible. So then as coaches, we have to look at, okay, where are those opportunities? Okay, where are those opportunities? Where is our opportunity, to get state qualifiers, or to put us in the top 5 at conference or at sectionals or something like that. So now, how do we rearrange kids to do that? And that's part of the not, I don't want to say struggle, but the kind of the job as us as a coaching staff to kind of look at that. Now we do, we go to some of the smaller meets. We give those kids more opportunities. At the smaller meets, we generally get more entries. We want kids to get exposed. Okay, so we're going to give them opportunities like, all right, I want to try the hurdles. But we're not going to say, all right, you can do the hurdles tomorrow and you've never practiced them, So we have kind of a rule, all right, you have to put X amount of days into it in order to be able to go in that new event that you want. So those are ways that we can do that in order to try to get points later in the season. But yeah, when we get to regionals, conference, and all that, then we have to look at, all right, where can we score the most points for our team, but also when we get to regionals, where can we score the most points if we're thinking state? Because track's not like the basketball tournament or anything like that. This is totally, if we win a state championship, we could win it with 5 kids. So, for example, I think last year Cadot has this Sonatag girl. I think she was state champ at 3 events. And then if you have a field event that you also place in, you're scoring. That's 30 points plus, let's say you get third or fourth. Now that's 36 points that one kid can. And to win state, usually if you could score 60 to 70 points, you're going to win. You have a chance of winning state as a team. So, those are some things that we really have to think about when we get closer to the end of the season. But during the season, it's about training. Meets are basically just another tool to train.
And you've been doing this. How long is this? What year is this?
Well, actually, for track, I got into it in 2018. I went coaches clinics. I read. I talked to other coaches. Kind of what education is. You kind of borrow and trade and things like that. So I've been looking at different ways. At least in the mid-distance realm of things. The toughest thing to find is a pole vault coach. So anybody that wants a pole vault coach, we're always looking for one.
So you want to. I mean, obviously promote. It's a team thing, but it's also, hey, I know I got a kid who could maybe win a state championship. Here's an individual. I don't want to hold him or her back.
Yeah, totally that way. And I'm even as a wrestling coach too. I mean, I don't have a problem with other people telling them a little, coaching them a little bit different way, or if the light switch gets turned on, I don't care how that gets turned on, and to help them, be able to be successful. I don't care.
That's head coach John Karl, Auburndale Track and Field, and yeah, he kind of said some of those events you kind of had to look at film just to see how to practice it, because you don't really know a lot.
But I think
about
he's smart too. He said he goes out and tries to find people to help coach various things.
Yep.
They said the only thing he lacks is a pole vault coach.
Yeah, and I think they go over to Zastro's in Spencer.
That would be a good place to go.
Good place, yes. Very good place.
I said, go to the Zastro's backyard. They've all been champion.
Yes,
but,
they have.
So.
Loyal did very well as well in track and field at the
Amherst
Amherst.
Invitational. Their girls took first and their boys took third. Addison Wolf first in the 100 and the 200. Second in the high jump. Kenley Allman first in the 800. Loyal won the 4x100 and the 4x400 relays in the girls, and has several placers in the boys.
Yeah.
So
Are they going to be in the same regional with Assumption?
I
didn't
don't
look
know.
down the road.
I got to look that up.
That'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, because I said you go one way. You go with Cadott, where Addison would match up with Izzy Sonnentag. Though I think Izzy Sonnentag is more the 400 and the hurdles.
Okay.
But if they go the other way, she'll match up with Bella and Lucy, and Bella kind of has had her number over the years. So
that would be a good one.
Yep, absolutely. So
all right,
the Neilsville Tracksters and a few Loyal at Neilsville are at the Black River Falls Invitational today.
All right, later today.
Yep.
And if you're going out to any of those events, you might want to bring an extra jacket.
Yes, absolutely.
It's going to be a little cooler today than it has been.
Yeah, Mother Nature is telling us that it's not totally spring yet.
No.
I said, we were lucky up to Loyal the other night. We went
out of the wind.
Center field. We stayed out of the wind.
Yes,
so.
that was the key there. Get out of the wind. Two Guys on Sports brought to us by All Motor Performance, Braun Concrete and Excavating, Chili Implement, and Jeff Holthaus, State Farm Agent.
One other high school note, Larry. I said Brandon Semet, the Loyal High School boys basketball coach, has been selected to coach a D5 North team at this summer's Wisconsin Basketball Coaches Association All-Star Game, and he'll have his own Bryce Deegan on his team. So
okay, all right, there you go.
Yep. So.
Good for him. Speaking of alumni, or I don't know how you would categorize alumnus.
Yeah.
Philip Opel.
Yes.
Neilsville native is now head coach of Regis Altoona Wrestling.
Philip, a former NGL wrestler, graduated in 2013. Philip had a career record for NGL of 180 and 20.
That was good.
Yeah, and he was a 3-time state qualifier and placed all 3 years, including a second-place finish in 2013 at 126 pounds. He then took his talents to Cornell College in Iowa, where he wrestled and then also worked as a coach. And today he is now a chiropractor in Altoona, and he has worked since 2021. He has helped coach at Crass Train, which is also in Altoona. And this last year he was a volunteer for the Regis Altoona wrestling program and was a big part of Drayton Kren's development into the program's first individual state wrestling champion. And Tuesday, I believe he was named head coach now.
Of RAW, they call it, Regis Altoona Wrestling.
So good for him.
Yeah.
And then, of course, one other NGL alumnus, Stephen Buchanan, last weekend, Larry won the 2026 U.S. Open in Las Vegas last weekend. He defeated Hayden Zilmer, who hails from Minnesota, who's been a long-time freestyle specialist. I think Hayden's like 33 years old, I think he was.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, some of these guys are...
Yeah. And Stephen beat him 5-3 to win the title at 97K. Because of this win, Stephen now moves on to it gets him to the 2026 Final X, and that is on June 19th in Newark, New Jersey. This event features the top 2 U.S. athletes at each weight in a best-of-3 championship series, with the winner earning spots on the 2026 Senior World Team. Stephen will be wrestling Kyle Snyder, who is a 2-time Olympian, including gold at the 2016 Olympic. He was an NCAA champion at Ohio State, and he has also been a world champion in the past. So,
Okay, yeah. So he's going to have his hands full.
Oh, absolutely. Kyle Snyder is a very, very tough wrestler, but he's probably like in that age bracket of Zilmer,
Yep.
that
yeah.
30 age, but these guys wrestle forever. So
Yeah, they do. Some of these guys
and
do.
Snyder he's a guy that's bounced between those weights, but he's kind of settled in at 97 now.
Okay, so this will go a long way on your resume towards the Olympics.
Yeah, you can just see the ladder forming.
Yep.
Climb up that ladder.
So good luck to Stephen as his quest for the Olympics continues, and that takes us to where are they now on the show?
Okay, I didn't do this intentionally, Larry. I really didn't. But
Okay.
We are going over to Auburndale, and we're going to talk about Lee Jepson, a 2015 graduate of Auburndale High School. In the fall, Lee was a 3-year letter winner on the Auburndale football team. His sophomore year, the Eagles were 5-4. Lee started on the offensive line and at defensive end, where he had 28 tackles with 4 TFLs on the season. His junior year, Auburndale was 4-6 on the season, qualifying for the WIA D5 playoffs, where they lost in Level 1 to Algoma. Lee had 38 tackles with 6 TFLs and 1 fumble recovery on the season. He was named second team on defense on the Merriwood All-Conference team. His senior year, the Eagles were 7-3 on the season, qualifying for the WIA D5 playoffs, where they lost in Level 1 to Arcadia. Lee was named first team offensive line on the Merriwood All-Conference team, and on defense he had 36 tackles with 5 TFLs and was named second team on the All-Conference team. In the spring, Lee was a 4-year letter winner on the Auburndale Track team. His freshman year, he ran a leg on Auburndale's sectional qualifying 4x200 relay team. His sophomore year, he was a sectional qualifier in the high jump and the 200-meter run, and he also ran legs on the Eagles sectional qualifying 4x100 and 4x200 relay teams. His junior year, he was a WIA D3 state qualifier in the 100-meter dash, where he finished with a sixth with a time of 11.62. He was also a sectional qualifier in the long jump and ran a leg on the Eagles sectional qualifying 4x100 relay team. His senior year, he was a WIA D3 state qualifier in the 100 meters, where he finished fifth with a time of 11.55. He was also a state qualifier in the 200, where he finished ninth with a time of 23.65. He was also a sectional qualifier in the long jump and ran a leg on the Eagles sectional qualifying 4x100 relay team. After graduation, Lee enrolled at UW Platteville and joined the Pioneers men's track team. After redshirting his freshman year, he transferred to UW Stevens Point and joined the Pointers men's track team. His freshman year, he ran a personal best 11.21 in the 100-meter and a 23.42 in the 200-meter. Both runs were at the NCAA regional D3 regional qualifier, where he finished sixth in both events. His sophomore year, he ran a personal best of 11.20 in the 100-meter, which earned him fifth at the WIAC meet, and 22.61 in the 200, which also earned him sixth place at the WIAC meet. His junior year, he finished sixth at the WIAC meet with a time of 11.1 and seventh in the 200 with a time of 22.55. He also ran a leg on points 4x100 relay team. His senior year, he ran a personal best in 100 meters with a time of 10.79, which was fourth at the WIAC meet, and he also ran a leg on points 4x100 relay team, which finished fourth at the WIAC meet with a time of 42.2. Lee graduated from UW Stevens Point in 2020 with a bachelor's degree in biology. He then enrolled at Marquette University and earned his master's degree in 2025 in sports and exercise analytics. Today, Lee is employed as an analyst for LabCorp in Madison, Wisconsin. Lee and his fiancée, Sarah Cohen, reside in Madison, Wisconsin. Lee Jepson, Larry.
Well, you don't see too many linemen that are great sprinters.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but,
wow, that's good for him.
yeah, absolutely. So
He's done well, too, as far as college. And,
oh, absolutely.
Wow.
Just
went on to Marquette.
It's amazing, these kids, just the things they do after they leave high school. So.
Driven, well driven.
Yeah.
All right, NFL draft wrapped up last weekend. What do you think? Packers had 6 picks.
I think
I see some B minuses and Bs.
I've seen a B plus. Everybody seems to agree on Sissy, the quarterback from South Carolina. It seems
Okay.
like. McClellan from Missouri, the defensive tackle, got high marks. I haven't heard much about Burton, the lone offensive player, the guard center from Kentucky.
Yeah. Big guy though.
Big guy. Yeah. And that's kind of what they need, an interior lineman, a need part. But
Sure.
trading the 2 7s to get to pick a kicker in the 6th was kind of confusing. I guess they really don't. McManus and those guys, I guess, are out because you don't draft a kicker in the 6th round just to bring him to camp. So
Right. Yeah.
So I think McManus.
And he was the best kicker in college.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll see. But he kicked at Florida. We'll see how he handles the winter. So, but
Probably doesn't even know what snow is.
yeah, I don't know. But as far as the draft itself, some surprises in that first round. I think it started for me, Larry, at number 3, where the Cardinals took Jeremiah Love. I thought they really don't even have their franchise quarterback in place.
Yeah.
And you're drafting a good running back, a solid running back.
Well, the best one in the draft,
Yeah.
probably. Yeah.
Everybody had them taking Reese or Bailey.
Yeah.
So,
The edge rushers.
and then the second, not a surprise that Carnell Tate was drafted high, but he was the first Ohio State player drafted. So he went to Tennessee, number 4, and then. But I think another surprise was once the offensive linemen started getting drafted, it was like we've seen drafts for quarterbacks as well and receivers, and this. I think there were some offensive linemen taken in the first round who had no reason being in the first round, but people were taking them for need.
Right. Yeah.
So,
the quarterback, Ty Simpson, going to the Rams.
Yep.
I think that's very similar, and I've read some things as to what the Packers and what the Chiefs did.
Yeah, I said they took a page. I said, and every pundit thinks that was the worst pick around that they could have traded, and maybe they could have.
Yeah.
But they chose not to. And who knows? They could have backfired on them, but they're taking a page, like you said, out of the Packers and the Chiefs book.
Get that quarterback when you can, not when you have to.
Yeah, Stafford's coming back for at least next year and maybe the year after. He's still in good health and playing well. Let the guy learn for a couple years, and I always have a feeling, Larry, you don't judge a draft today or tomorrow, the day after it happens. It's 3 to 5 years from now.
Right.
We'll see what happens.
Yep.
So, but
it's worked for the Packers.
Absolutely, it's worked for the Chiefs too.
As far as quarterbacks, in my opinion, never draft them when you need them.
Yeah.
Draft them when you can.
I seen a stat just recently where how many of the quarterbacks drafted first in the draft made the Hall of Fame, and it ain't very many.
No,
it ain't very.
You're right.
I mean, when the GOAT in our sport here, football, was a guy nobody even thought might make the team.
Right.
And so.
Bart Starr was 17th round.
17th round. Brett Favre, 2nd round pick. Dan Marino was picked the very last pick of the first round.
Well, you look at that 83 draft, all the quarterbacks, and none of them were highly picked.
No.
That were really good.
No.
Yeah.
I forget who the Jets picked that time. He didn't do much. And,
No.
But I look at a guy like Trevor Lawrence, and Trevor Lawrence is still playing well, but by now he was supposed to have a Super Bowl title according to all the pundits.
Right. Well, as good as he was coming out, right?
Absolutely.
But they go to a team that's not very good and get beat up for how many years?
Absolutely. And that's not the case with Ty Simpson. He's going to go into a good learning situation. And as long as Sean McVay is the coach there, it's a very good situation for any quarterback. So,
yes.
Because they're going to have good receivers and everything.
And he's not required that he has to play right away.
Absolutely.
Go in and learn.
He's going to learn under one of the best, too.
Right.
So,
So Pittsburgh did very well with the draft, 805,000 people over the 3 days.
That number just increases every year, but they did a great job.
Yeah, that's a record.
And speaking of Pittsburgh, they put a tender on Aaron Rodgers. So if some other team signs Aaron Rodgers, they're going to get compensation for him.
Oh,
so
okay.
So
well, there
Mike
you go.
McCarthy must want him to come back, I guess.
Well, we got about less than a minute here. The horses are ready to go for the Kentucky Derby on Saturday, and apparently you don't want to start first post position because That position has not won since '86.
And I believe the favorite drew the spot too.
Yeah, and so now he's not the favorite anymore.
What is that? Is it Revolution or something?
Renegade.
Renegade.
Yep,
Yes.
and now it's the Puma is the
Ooh,
betting favorite.
okay.
He's not on the poll. So
Yes. One Brewer note: Jackson Churio, Andrew Vaughn are out on rehab stints to Nashville. It is hoped they will both be with the team in St. Louis Monday.
all right,
So
there you go.
And they need them.
Yep, that's Two Guys on Sports. I'm Larry Hazer.
I'm Dick Olson.
We'll talk to you next week.